Hi, I'm Quincas and I'm a synth DIY guy, and welcome to this channel where we explore and experiment with modular synthesizers and new technologies applied to music making and sound design. If you like that sort of thing, please consider hitting like, subscribing to this channel, and maybe even joining my Patreon where you can help me keep these videos coming. So I'm really excited about today's video, which is about the Sensel Morph Innovator overlay, which is this transparent overlay here that allows you to create your own custom controllers using the Sensel sensor technology. And the way it works is you can go into the Sensel software and lay out your own controls, and then you can print the file that it generates on a piece of paper like this, put it underneath the overlay, and there you have it. You don't have to rely on the factory overlays only, which some are really good, but maybe you want to do something different like I did here. You might have seen this overlay before. I've used it on a few videos controlling synthesizer parameters on my modular with the FH2 MIDI to CV converter. But the reason I actually made this overlay originally was to try out an idea that I had for dub mixing. I'm a huge fan of dub music. I love Lee Scratch Perry, King Tubby, and even some more modern dub mixers like my personal friend Victor Rice, who lives in São Paulo, Brazil, and taught me a lot of what I know about dub mixing technique. So thanks, Victor. So I've created what I consider to be the dream dub mixing controller, because the three parameters that you normally use for dub mixing are available with a single finger for each channel. So I'm using the XYZ mapping of each one of these colored pads here. If you look at my Bitwig, when I move up and down on the drums here, you get the volume control. When I move side to side, you pan it. So you no longer have to grab a separate pan knob with this layout. The same finger that's controlling volume is also controlling the stereo panorama, which is really cool. And then the third control is pressure. So when I push in, the effect send goes high, right? So I control the effect send for each channel with pressure. And that's awesome for dub music, because when using a delay in dub, most of the time you're actually gonna ride it, you're gonna play it like an instrument, you're gonna get that snare hit to repeat. So it's not a set it and forget it kind of a delay idea, it's more like playing it in real time. Now, the song that we're gonna use is a reggae tune I wrote. I've written over 120 tunes for the YouTube audio library, and this tune is for that. I composed it on Reaper, which is my main DAW, and then I bounced down some stems to use because it's just easier to focus on only 8 tracks. I can only fit really comfortably 8 tracks on the Sensel Morph. I made a drums mix minus snare. Here's the snare by itself, the percussion instruments, the bass guitar, the electric guitars, my synthesizer, which is the MKS50 by Roland, a electric piano, which is the Hohner Pianetti, and a horn section, which is made up of the audio modeling Swam instrument saxophones controlled by my Linstrument. You will hear some spring reverb baked into these stems, and that's my Befaco spring reverb, which I recorded by sending stereo output from my audio interface into the Joranilog RX2 dual line inputs, which amplify that audio into modular levels so that I could then connect it to my Befaco spring reverb. So that's the reverb you hear baked into these stems. Now, the reason I'm using Bitwig instead of Reaper for this project is because it allows you to map CC controls for the volume panning and effect send, which is not so easy to do on Reaper. It's actually really buggy and weird to do on Reaper. But on Bitwig, it's almost perfect. I say almost perfect because since it's only done via MIDI learn, when I press one of these, I'm sending 3 CC values. So what I had to do was a little bit of a hassle. I had to go back and forth between the Sensel software and Bitwig and map one type of control at a time. So vertical first, and then horizontal, and then pressure. But once I did that, I then saved the Bitwig session as a template. So now anytime that I want to do this, I just load my template, load up some audio files into the tracks, and everything is ready to go. And both my Bitwig template and the Morph overlay file will be available with a link below in the video description. So if you have Bitwig and Morph, you won't need to do all the work that I did. You can just download my files. So as you can see, the colors match. I've actually assigned colors to the tracks here on my template that match the colors on my overlay, but I don't really like looking up at the screen while I'm doing this. So I put down a strip of masking tape here, and I wrote down the actual tracks, what they are. And also the masking tape is holding down the silicon, because when I use pressure to send to the delay and then change the volume, I can actually pull the overlay right off of the Sensel Morph if I'm not careful. So this is going to help me not have to worry about that. The masking tape holds it down fairly nicely. So why don't we have a listen to some elements and hear what they sound like. I'm going to bring everybody down here and we can listen to the tracks one at a time. Let's go. So these are the drums, right, minus the snare. And as you can see, I can pan them left or right. This is the snare right here. And if I push in, get that delay, right? By the way, the Zen Delay is loaded with firmware 1.1, which fixes all the previous issues that I had, like the noise and the digital modes and the weirdness in timing. So it's perfect now. I just love riding that cutoff knob. Here's the percussion instruments: shakers, congas, and timbales. Right? You can really hear that spring reverb baked in there. Here's my bass guitar, which is my Fender Precision bass with flat wound strings, perfect for reggae. And here's the guitars. I can use the tube distortion on the Zen Delay too. That's a nice effect to use as well. Here's the Roland MKS 50. Alright, let's bring the drums back up. Super nice, right? Here's the horns. So those are the saxophones from audio modeling Strum Instruments. So that's the basic song. Why don't we start from scratch here? So I'll double click on all of these faders and sliders so we can start from sort of a flat mix and do a take. How's that? All right, so here we go. Cool. That was all right. I can probably do better if I do a few more takes. This is more of like a practice take. I can also record all of the automation that I'm playing here on Bitwig and then fine tune it, edit it, and all that, make it more polished. But I don't know. I think dub is not really meant to sound so polished. So I probably just practice and do a lot of takes and then choose the best one. But for now, I think this is enough to give you an idea how fun this can be, right? I'm probably going to continue trying some things here. But for the meantime, I'll leave you with this. Again, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, join my Patreon. See you soon and stay noisy.